before the first Africans still, right? First Africans come 1619. He discusses that. Whatever their status was on the high seas, when they get to Virginia, they're not slaves because there's no slavery in Virginia. Key date, 22nd March, 1622. They don't teach this one. On this day, the Powhatan Indians in the area of Jamestown rise up and they kill 1/3 of the colonists in one day. And in the next year, another 1/3 die. Right? Now, and there's the struggle. Now, what this sets up is what today people might call a shock doctrine scenario, right? Because the ruling elite seizes on the vulnerability. The main food was corn. Corn grows high. They couldn't go out more than 50 feet or something beyond the confines of the fort to get supplies. So the ruling elite, who controlled the supplies, started imposing a new category on laborers. There had been free laborers, apprentices, tenants at half, where they kept half of what they produced, all these capitalist relations of production. But after 1622, you see appearing in the records that people could be bought and sold to the heirs, and they could be assigned to other people. They call it the custom of the country, and that's the phrase you see in the book. Just like they later, with a sneer, would refer to their peculiar institution, the slave owners, or how they wouldn't put it in the Constitution, you know, the slave. So they called it the custom of the country, but it was chattelization of labor, buying and selling labor, right? And Allen discusses how this happens. It's a break from the statute of artificers. It is not a feudal carryover. It's imposed as the custom of the country. Here are the statistics, and you've never seen these before. When I was in high school, I was taught about way back there were Negro slaves and white indentured servants. They weren't white. They're not indentured. Look at these statistics. 3/4 were chattel bond laborers. That's not signing an indenture in England and willingly putting yourself in this status. This is being imposed. Allen points out such recruitment was generally coercive. Few were wholehearted volunteers. Many were kidnapped convicts, others. Right? And there's no, when I say that phrase, there also is still not slavery. There's not racial slavery yet in Virginia in this period. All right. So for chattel bond laborers, and someone raised questions, again, Allen does a nice job on a number of gender issues, but here he talks about the denial of family life. And there was more serious penalties, particularly on women, if they're chattel bond labor, because the owner, your owner, wants work out of you, right? And if you're getting pregnant, you're not doing it. So there were laws passed against fornication, adultery, and the penalties were invariably harsher on the women than on the men, right? Women were exposed to special oppression attacks. Children of chattel bond laborers were considered illegitimate. 17th century Virginia. Allen makes this point. Morgan, to a degree, makes this point. Edmund Morgan. Lerone Bennett Jr. makes this point. The conditions for European and African American bond laborers was very similar in this period. As Bennett says, it was no Garden of Eden. They were lucky if they finished 3 years. These were hard conditions. But there was much similarity in their conditions, right? Yes, chattel means you could be bought and sold. Traditionally, the way it was set up, you would be the chattel of someone. You might have a service of 4. You're a woman, you might have 5 years, you know. They would do it. The Irish sometimes they would do more African Americans. As we saw, they would sometimes try and extend it. But you could be bought and sold as a business proposition. I could pass you on to my children, my cousin, whatever, right? Your property. All right. Status of African Americans in the 17th century. Most people are not familiar with this. If you owned property, and some did, you could exercise marriage rights. There was social mobility. Some had significant land holdings. Some were owners of European American laborers, manifested many forms of resistance. Some could vote. And this becomes very important later. All right. So Allen argues the status of African Americans in this period was indeterminate because it's still being struggled out, right? And see, with this plantation economy, the big problem was for the elite was how they're going to maintain social control. People chattel, they want to run away. There's lots. There's a number of attempts to insurgents to run away. Very key case, getting into gender issues again, and particularly the black family, but much deeper issues too. Case of Elizabeth Key. Elizabeth Key is a woman child of a European-American father and an African-American mother. She was scheduled to complete her servitude when the estate she was bonded on sought to impose permanent lifetime status on her. Elizabeth Key goes to court, because she could go to court back then. This changes, right? She goes to court. That's a rendition of Elizabeth Key. And she makes two arguments. One, that she had been baptized. Sometimes that one would work. Not always, right? Sometimes. But the second argument is crucial. She argues the common law principle. The law in England for centuries was the status of the child followed that of the status of the father. The Latin phrase, partus sequitur patrum. Status of the child follows that of the father. For centuries, this was the law. And if those principles prevailed, we wouldn't have had what later developed, because the offspring of these chattel laborers would be not chattel laborers, right? If it went after the father or... But in 1662, the Virginia Assembly realized, boy, that's not the way we want to start taking this thing, and they changed the law, and they go to partus sequitur ventrum, the status of the child follows the status of the mother. Now that's key also. When I was in school years ago, there was a book by a fellow named Gutman, I think it was Gutman, The Black Family in Slavery and Freedom. And that book starts in 1790. But you can't really address this issue if you don't go back and look at some of this stuff.